Let's have a real conversation about Caleb Williams. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears 27-24. And I'm not saying Caleb Williams was terrible. I'm not saying Caleb Williams isn't a good quarterback. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is trash. But as a quarterback, that was the number one overall pick. I would think that Caleb Williams, especially after what we saw last year and getting a new head coach and Ben Johnson, getting a new coaching staff, I would expect Caleb Williams to be much further in his quarterback journey than he is right now. The thing that's so frustrating about, watching Caleb Williams is he has all the intangibles. Caleb Williams does things that some of the greats can't do. Caleb Williams, I understand why, if you just looked at him, you understand why he'd be a number one overall pick. But just as much as he is that, he also is this. He has such a high ceiling with such a low floor. And more times than not, just in this game, actually, let's just stick to this game. We saw the ceiling. I think he went 10 for 10 the first 10 passes. Caleb Williams in this offense looked incredible, even though they only had 7 points in the first quarter, 10 overall in the first half. Caleb Williams in this offense looked great. There's a reason why when we talked about the NFC North, we were saying it's going to be extremely competitive because even the team that you might think is the worst team, which is a lot of people's consensus, the Chicago Bears, they have a really good roster, and they have Caleb Williams, and they have Ben Johnson. But even in this game, he went 10 for 10. Like he was letting it fly. And then the old Caleb Williams started to come out. The terrible overthrows, the plays where just throw the ball away, and it feels like he is allergic to throwing the ball away at times. I know he tries to be Superman and makes these plays, but sometimes the best play for your team is just let it go. I understand when he does all that scrambling, and there were times in that game where when he scrambled, I'm thinking to myself, yo, he's down, and then he gets a positive net. I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. But then there's also times like, bro, what are you doing? And I think the reason why I'm so critical on this now is because a lot of those layups that he missed could have won the game, like the pass to DJ Moore at the end of the game. DJ Moore was wide open, and the man threw it to damn near and he wasn't even rushed, and he threw it to damn near the first row. If he would have just threw it to the numbers of DJ Moore, we would be talking about a different game. I'm not saying throw away Caleb Williams. I'm not saying that he's trash. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is I'm surprised that he is not he's not more advanced with everything that he has than he is now. On top of that, we even saw the whole bad body language that he does. I'm not going to make a grand assumption, but what I will say is this. If what we saw continues, obviously they lost, but if what we saw continues with the Chicago Bears, they will be the worst, and we'll talk about them in a second, but even with what we saw with the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears will be the worst team in this division. Now, yes, I get it. You're going up against one of the best rosters in football, especially on the defensive side of the ball, in the Minnesota Vikings. I understand that anytime you go up against a Brian Flores team, that's tough to handle. That's tough to deal with. And I understand that the Chicago Bears offensive line was getting worked. Even though they spent a lot of money on it this offseason, it was getting worked. But some of the same issues that permeated Caleb Williams' time in USC and even his first year, we saw week 1. Now, I want to talk about J.J. McCarthy for a second. Because J.J. McCarthy gave you the ultimate seesaw game. The first 3 quarters of this game, J.J. McCarthy looked terrible. It looked like all the excuses that we were thinking is going to be, hey, he missed his whole entire rookie season. He ain't played in so long. It's going to take some time. That's what it looked like. He threw a pick 6. It looked bad. But then he turned it on that fourth quarter. So, and he helped lead. He scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. He went. You even saw it in the hype video at the end of the game. Like, that's why I was surprised that J.J. McCarthy had a captain patch on his chest, but I see why. He never quit. And I feel like we saw how good he can be. But we just need. I don't think that the Vikings are going to be playoff contenders or Super Bowl contenders. I'm not going to say all that. But this was a very important game for the Vikings. And this was a very important game for J.J. McCarthy. And you can see, I think in that fourth quarter, we saw how good he could be. I think in the first 3 quarters, we saw that floor. If you can get a healthy win, I mean, obviously you'll get a healthy medium. I think J.J. McCarthy and this Vikings team, they're going to be good. I don't know about great, but they're going to be good. Congratulations to the Minnesota Vikings for beating the Chicago Bears 27-24. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.